All right, I think we're finally got it figured out. Let me wait. Let me wait and see. Let me go check, see if we're live. Everything is working. People can actually hear me. Ay, 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 what a morning trying to get this right. Let's wait for some people to get in. Looks like we're live. Anybody here? Yes, the Damon has landed. Drag Blacker, correct. Can you hear me? Morning, everybody. Morning, morning, morning. If you can hear me, let me know that it sounds good. Everything is good. Nothing wrong with the audio. All right. Las Vegas, Custom Craft. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody had a good Labor Day. Welcome on in to what hopefully will be the first of many morning streams. Really very informal. Just to go through some news, do some Q&A, see how everybody's doing, go through some of the things I'm looking at for the night show, look at your comments. Yes, better late than never. We had all kinds of difficulty getting this going this morning. I apologize. We will we'll try to make it around 9 o'clock every morning, or very close to. Angela, wow, very early in California. So welcome on in, everybody, wherever you're watching this morning on YouTube and X, and I think that's what we're going to try to keep it to. YouTube and X. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, always appreciate that. Helps the channel grow. We're going to try to grow the numbers here. September's an interesting time of year. Kids go back to school. It always feels like kind of a new year, even though it's obviously not the new year, but it always kind of feels like a reset, back to business, buckle down. And of course, in an election year, that's magnified as we sit here and about 60 days out, right? What's today, September 3rd? 62 days away from the most important day in probably the country's history. So it certainly feels like a reset, feels like a kind of like, here we go, let's go. So it's kind of an exciting time. I always kind of like it. Kids go back to school, get back into their routine. You kind of get back to business, get back to work. Everybody gets back to getting serious about doing things, moving things forward. So it's an exciting time. But my idea on this morning stream is going to be to come on here and just kind of really take you through the process and look at some stuff together that, I'm kind of looking at for the night show and just other things that have caught my attention. Nothing formal. Just go through some news articles that I'm looking at and see what's out there, check social media, see what the buzz is, and then do some Q&A with you. And check the markets maybe. Stock market open, which of course we missed because of our technical difficulties. But maybe we'll start there. We'll take a look at what the markets are doing. Oh, let's see. All right, let's see if this works here. There we go. Oh, markets are red. Dow's down 219, S&P's down 42, NASDAQ down 216. So a little bit of red across the board this morning. VIX is up a little bit, the volatility. Dow falls more than 100 points as September trading begins. September is an interesting for the markets as well. September is always one of those months where it's kind of like wake me up when September ends. It's usually a red month. And obviously this morning, down now 189 points lower. And of course, a lot of that, like they say here, has to do with NVIDIA. NVIDIA dropped more than 4%. Is one of the several semiconductor stocks, including Micron, KLA, and Advanced Micro Devices. And I mean, if you watched NVIDIA's, what did they report last Wednesday or Thursday? It really wasn't terrible. I think people are more worried about the guidance of going forward. So yeah, markets a little red this morning. Now the Dow's down 233. So we'll keep an eye on that. Could be could be a rough September. What rough looks like, I don't know. Could be red though. Certainly over in the crypto markets, September is usually not a good month, although right now Bitcoin's up 23, Ethereum's down 48, so pretty much for crypto that's pretty much unchanged. But a couple things in politics that have caught my attention this morning, and this is over in the Washington Times. Harris's surge riding on oversampling of Democrats. I think this is becoming a little more, we've talked a lot about the polls. John Solomon did a great report on this last week as well. And of course, as it says here, Democrats are celebrating after Kamala seemingly has closed the gap on Trump, even has her leading in some battleground states. Of course, depending on what you look at. We know that most of these polls are absolute nonsense. But this idea of oversampling Democrats to try to give their Praetorian Guard media red meat to go run with and go, oh, look at this, she's in the lead, is becoming more and more, almost more and more in your face. And of course, like everything the Democrats do, they don't really care if you know what they're doing. They'd rather you not. They'd rather try to be, they'd rather accuse you of doing something while they're doing it. But in the end, if you figure it out, it's not going to stop them from doing it. And this almost seems like, they'll just keep going on the Sunday shows and bringing on Democrat guests to tell you that, oh no, you should trust all the polls, only the ones that have her in the lead, or have her tied, or have her within the margin, or have her surging. Those are the ones you should believe. And if you ask them about the oversampling, well, they'll just ignore it and they just go on. And as it says here, this is the Washington Times this morning. Republican Party analysts say polling methodology gives Ms. Harris a phantom advantage because many polls sampled a far smaller share of Republicans than exit polls showing from the 2020 presidential election. And we've talked a lot about this. People who will never tell a pollster who they're voting for, especially if it's Trump, because they don't want to. Trump voters don't even get polled. I mean, I have never, in all of my years in being involved in politics and voting, ever, I don't know, and I'm interested how many of you have. Have you ever been polled? Have you ever been called? I've never been polled or called for not for politics, not for TV show ratings, nothing, none of that ever. And I'm sure they do it in a lot of heavy blue. If you're living in California, although I'm in New York, so you would think it's obviously as blue as any place else. I've never gotten sampled or called on any of these things. I don't know how many of you have. I'll keep an eye on the chat. Oh, you can't even see this tab. Let me share it. Sorry about that. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. I don't know how many of you have been polled. It looks like from a quick look, not a lot of you have. Yeah. Trump supporters, that wasn't the one. Nope, I've never been polled, says Susan. John as well, never been polled. So, but anyway, so this idea of oversampling is seems to be getting more and more play to say, well, wait a minute. She opened a 5-point lead over Mr. Trump in a Suffolk University USA Today poll released Thursday. The 48 to 43% results in favor of Ms. Harris represent an 8-point turnaround from June. Now, I mean, that just defies all common sense. It defies any common sense that she could be getting more people to like her as the time goes on. And the more she speaks, although she's not doing a lot of that, now her new gig, hold on one second. This is her new gig now. Oh, I'm listening to my earphones, and I'm talking on the phone at the same time to not have to deal with the press when she's getting on and off Air Force Two, I guess, or whatever her new deal is. So now she's going to fake taking calls so that she doesn't have to talk to the press. Which, I mean, A for effort, I guess. A for effort for her team sitting there in the room going, okay, how do we keep her away from? Hey, I got an idea. Yes, Johnny, what's your idea? Let's have her act like she's on the phone. They'll never pick up on it. So that's her new thing now. She's going to keep her ear. She's going to have her air. She's going to be doing ads for AirPods. Is her new gig because she's going to be on the phone. Like several other major polls showing Harris' lead, the survey included more answers from those identifying as Democrats, 37%, than Republicans, 33%, according to the data. So, I mean, I think people are kind of on to what they're doing. Listen, I think as we get closer, they get more desperate. So things like this, I think you're going to see more of. And listen, the media is going to, it's the media's job to get her across the finish line. You know, and I think that's the thing to remember. So, saw some other more in-depth articles. If you're into this is a good one over at the American Thinker by John Kudla. Stop worrying about the polls. Kamala's lead is fake. And I really like the way he breaks this down in this article. He says, can Kamala win? Well, only if the public buys into the massive public relations campaign touting her as a leader and the Democrats' desperate attempt to blame Trump for the country being on the wrong track. And keep in mind Kamala's problem as a candidate. She's immersed in the world of identity politics. She's rarely been able to succeed without the help of powerful politicians. She has never run anything significant, no city, no state, no business. She has managed her own offices, but her reputation as a terrible boss. She avoided most of the assignments given to her by the Biden administration, especially the border czar. Finally, she's totally misguided middle-class daughter of a Marxist economist professor, which may account for many of her socialist views and her inability to connect with working-class folks. And we have absolutely laid the case out for exactly that reason for all of these people. All these people going on TV with all these economic plans that they say are going to be for more middle-class freedom, and it's just the opposite of that. So he says, can Trump win? Of course he can. He has to focus on the issues and stay frosty. No name-calling, inappropriate remarks, or wandering off topic. I mostly agree with that, but you also have to let Trump be Trump. Trump, and you're not going to stop it. So Trump has other advantages. The main Trump-friendly issues are the economy, inflation, and illegal immigration. And I mean, I don't think we should take what's going on in Aurora, Colorado lightly as far as public perception of the end result of letting 10, 11, 12 million people into the country, because eventually these are the tentacles that start to branch out from doing that. And I think people are paying attention to that story. And you keep hearing that Hell's Angels are heading there. I don't think that's true. But what the hell, local law enforcement? I mean, you can walk around with AK-15s and AR-style weapons in Colorado. Is that like a full carry? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I hear reports of local law enforcement says there's nothing they can do. I don't really understand that. Maybe I'm missing something about this story. Again, we'll do some Q&A here in a second. But back to this, he says, yes, Trump has former current Democrats supporting him, such as Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, and Robert F. Kennedy. Also, the Democrats' desire to raise the corporate tax rate and tax unrealized capital gains is motivating Silicon Valley and Wall Street big money players to back Trump. How could it not? I don't know how it doesn't motivate everybody. I mean, and again, I know I make this a little too simplistic sometimes, but when you think about taxes You think about the Jewish community, the black community. I don't know how anybody votes for her. I don't know how anybody votes for them. I don't know how anybody votes for a party that hates America, that hates you, that only wants to use you for your vote and then do nothing for you other than enrich themselves, expand their power, expand government. I don't know how anybody votes for them. And Trump also has a secret weapon, and that, of course, is the unusually ignored and virtually unpollable mass of Trump supporters, a.k.a. the hidden Trump vote. They are still there. So take a closer look at the national results. Real Clear Politics average of a multi-candidate race has Kamala up by 2 points. There are two obvious problems here. One is that only 5 out of the 11 polls are surveying likely voters. Polls of likely voters are usually more accurate than polls of registered voters. The second is that only 4 of the polls were taken after RFK decided to support Trump. It is not known how this will affect the polls in the future. Well, I would say it's going to affect them. We've talked about this. The 538 average says Kamala is up by 3.4 points. How they came to that conclusion is a total mystery. If you look closely, many of the polling organizations represented here are not household names. Big Village, Kaplan Strategies, Angus Reid Global. There's also a mishmash of polls of all adults, registered voters, likely voters, and many still have RFK as a separate candidate. Only one poll from The Economist YouGov without Kennedy has Harris up 2 points. The big question is whether these polls are reasonably accurate or biased. After all, it's easy to make Kamala appear more popular than she really is. All you have to do is sample more Democrats, more women, more minorities, or do more sampling in metropolitan areas, like we just said, New York. According to this story that was in Red State, it's alleged that a recent New York Times Siena poll was biased. Supposedly, the poll showed significant leads for Kamala in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania that were dubious at best. This poll claims that Harris made massive gains with senior citizens and non-college white voters that may not be valid. Another problem with the accuracy is that most polling organizations are left of center on ideological grounds. Well, we know that. So is the mainstream media. Is it possible that they are deliberately inflating Kamala's support to help her? Well, of course they are. I mean, of course they are. And whether they're doing it to help her or they're doing it for the media to have something to go tell you, I think it's more that. I think they do it so they can feed their propaganda heads in the media, and the media can then go on every night, every day, every afternoon. Oh, look at this. New poll out, new poll out, new poll out. You know, and voters out there who are paying half attention go, oh, man, she's doing good. Look at this. She's surging. Maybe I need to take a better look at her. Maybe she's not that bad. That's their job. That's what they want to do. So what they're trying to do is trying to pump up Harris. They're trying to suppress the vote, and there's smart people doing this intentionally, and I would say that's exactly right. So anyways, this is a good, very, very good article if you want to kind of break down the oversampling and where the, I don't think I've actually shared this yet, so let's share it now. Put this on our X. There we go. All right, so that's on our X, so you can go take a look at that. All right, so let's get over to some of what you guys are saying. We'll take a look at what's going on in the news. Let's see what they're...
Followed by anti-Israel protesters filling the streets of New York City, setting off flares and smoke bombs and waving the flags of Hamas and Hezbollah.
It looks eerily similar to the protests we saw in the spring at Columbia University. Now with the fall semester starting there today, Jewish students at the Ivy League campus are gripped with fear and bracing for the worst.
So New York Republican Mike Lawler is standing by. We'll talk to him. But first to Alexis McAdams live at Columbia University, Manhattan's Upper West Side.
Oh, yes, back to school
like
for all the Hamas-loving Democrats today in New York City.
For us. Good morning.
What a day to be there.
Bill, Dana, good morning. From the Upper West Side, you can see behind me, I don't know if I'm having deja vu, but it sure looks a lot similar, right, to what we saw months ago. But it's a new school year here at Columbia University, but still a similar scene with those pro-Palestinian protesters gathering in front of that campus and marching.
There you go, New York City, folks. No, that's not downtown Tehran. That's New York City, Columbia University.
Not just here at this university. I was out there yesterday walking the streets.
Come on, send your kids. They'll leave smarter.
Protesters across Manhattan. Watch this. Now, according to the NYPD, there were at least 5,000 people you're looking at there walking around New York City during a pro-Palestinian protest on Sunday afternoon.
And just crazy. I mean, it's just nuts. What's going on there? Let's see what else is going on in the news, if we can catch anything. We'll get to some of your questions, too. We'll do some Q&A here. Let's see what the other propagandists are talking about.
After 6 hostages were found dead in a tunnel in Gaza, shot reportedly just before a chance at rescue. Overnight, more massive protests.
And Netanyahu somehow is the bad guy here.
More to free the remaining hostages.
6 hostages get killed, and Biden says, "Oh,
demonstrations,
Netanyahu's not doing enough." First thing out of his mouth is to trash Netanyahu.
Netanyahu's home in Jerusalem. NBC News International correspondent Matt Bradley joins us live from Israel. Also with us, former Israeli Consul General in New York, Ambassador.
All right, so that's what they're talking about. Let's go over here and see what these morons are talking about.
I think it puts the state of Florida in play on the presidential ballot.
Come on.
Oh, I think it does. We have a very key Senate race here with
Florida's in play, everybody.
Powell, our candidate, who is clearly stands up for reproductive rights. We've got a number of other issues, including protecting Medicare, that people in Florida care a lot about. I think you're going to see Florida in play, and Amendment 4 puts it on the map in a big way, because what we've seen in places like Kansas, where that was the first test.
Let's please see you put a lot of resources into Florida. Please, I beg you to tell her to put resources into Florida. I'll eat this microphone if Florida is in play. Florida is in no way, shape, or form in play. The Democrats are in total, annihilated in a cloud of dust in Florida, statewide.
Including Florida, people at margins of 70%, 80% are on the side of women being able to make their own health care decisions. Even if they may have their own views on abortion, they don't think that they should be putting them on somewhere else. 1 out of 3 women are now living in states with extreme abortion bans. You have women bleeding out in parking lots. You have
This is the only thing they can continue to. It's the only subject matter they can continue to harp on. The only one. It's the only thing they can continue to harp on, and they try to make it work in every state.
Roe versus Wade, but that requires a Congress that is able to do that. If Democrats lose the Senate this election, or you don't take back the House, doesn't that get complicated?
Well, that is exactly why we have to keep the Senate, and we're feeling so good about all our races across the country.
Yeah, sure you are.
We are ahead with our candidates, with all the incumbents in places like Wisconsin with Tammy Baldwin, and Nevada with Jackie Rosen, Sherrod Brown in Ohio, John Tester in Montana, Bob.
Yeah, they're so full of it. They're so full of it. Florida's not in play. They're not comfortable down ticket with her. They may say they are, but they're not. But Florida, Florida in play. That's a good one. Texas West, right? Florida simple. But listen, they'll say anything. They will say anything. They'll look in the camera and they will say anything. Like, I did not have sexual relations. They'll say anything. Absolutely say anything. So, all right, let's do some Q&A. So, actually, let me just check, see if there's anything else. Couple other things that did catch my attention. Let me put this back up. Did you guys see this? I'm sure most of you did. She put her Hillary Clinton hot sauce in my pocket. This is. Let's see if we can hear this. Is there sound on this? I mean, come on. Come on. Come on, stop. Come on. Stop it. I can't. I just can't. I don't know how she gets one vote. Never mind. I just don't know how she even gets one vote. I mean, it's just she is the most gold-plated, phony politician that I think we've ever seen. I don't even think it's close. I mean, really unbelievable. All right, let's take a look at what's going on X, see if there's anything. We just talked about this. I don't know if this is the same. Now, here you go. I mean, see, this is, when you talk about a group of 32 armed Venezuelans took over an apartment building in Chicago, new city now. Here's the audio of the 911 dispatch call. First, they did this in Aurora, Colorado, and now Chicago. Which city will be next? Well, I would probably vote for New York. They'll try to probably take over who knows what. Who knows what? How does law enforcement not have the ability to act here? And here you go again, Elon retweeting so that his 196 million followers can continue to see these stories. Another one. An illegal alien has been arrested for stabbing a 14-year-old girl watching her brother's baseball game. The illegal had been deported back to Honduras in 2018 under President Trump, then was let back in by border czar Kamala Harris, coming to your city in a Harris presidency. I mean, I think people take notice of this stuff eventually. All right, anyways, let's do a little Q&A and we'll wrap it up. Let me go back up here as far as I can go. Moon Pie, you're absolutely right. Dedicated will be a good description. Thank you very much. Sorry for the delay this morning. Hopefully we can get it working every morning a lot quicker than we did this morning. Let's see. Everybody had a good weekend. You sound sick. What? Rebecca? I'm not sick. Feel great. Feel great. Good morning, West Hartford. Hey, John in West Hartford, Connecticut. Good to see you. Oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Eleanor. Oh, more Connecticut. Robert in Avon, Connecticut. Another place I know very well. What's going on, Tim? Angela, hello. I don't know. I haven't heard that, but that would be absolutely amazing. I don't think Google would sell it, and I don't think Elon would want to spend what he'd probably have to spend. Although, I don't know, what did he spend on Twitter? 40 billion? I haven't heard that. Has anyone else heard that? Yes, this is a good one. This is the new one. What's up, Tommy Viper? Rebecca, happy birthday. What's up, Tim? What's going on? Yeah, Mark, that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to do 9, maybe somewhere between 9 and just before the market opens. I like the name Tommy Viper, Live with Tommy Viper. Actually, I actually like that a lot. That's a good show name. Live with Tommy Viper. Yeah, if you hit the little bell notification on YouTube, you can get notified when we do go live, just in case we're a couple minutes late or early. You'll get notified that we're live. Hello, Laura from Missouri. Hope things are well there. Let's see, what else we got? California is not as blue as the news says it is. I bet that's probably true in areas. It's like New York, out here on Long Island. It's very red. You know, we should probably talk about this. Maybe I'll save it for the show tonight. But listen, we've smashed on Speaker Johnson, well deserved in a lot of places. If it's true that he's attaching the SAVE Act to the spending, that's a big clap from me if he's done that. And I've heard that's what supposedly he's doing. And if he does, good for him. Make him take a vote on it. And tie it to the spending deal. No, I don't. And I've heard that nobody else does either, because no one knows what the hell she's talking about. Especially the black community. They're like, yeah, no. Could you be dumber? That's what I hear that most people are thinking. Well, they'll say that she's listening to some new record that she really is into, and that you should be into it too, and that she's brilliant for choosing that one. That's what they're going to say. A lot of people saying they've never been polled. I have never either. But man, do I get a lot of stupid texts from Democrats or from some Trump granddaughter or aunt or uncle. I'm Trump's long lost aunt. Support the Democrats. Boy, I get enough texts like that. And every time I hit stop to end and then I send some vicious reply, I keep getting more. I've never been polled, but I don't answer my phone unless I know who it is. Okay. Probably a good idea. Oh, let's see. What else? What else? Eleanor says, I have a great letter of why we should be voting for President Trump. It's too big to put on Getter or True Social. I posted it on Instagram. Okay. Anybody who wants to see that, go over to Instagram, I guess. Maybe you should put your Instagram tag in the chat so people know where to go if they want to read it. Joey is busy at the beach, although he got back in front of a microphone yesterday. I believe that was yesterday. Actually, we should try to find that clip before we go. He laid off a doozy yesterday. I mean, his ability to even get words out is quickly coming to an end. Like, I don't even know how they continue to put him in front of a microphone pretty soon. Just put him back at the beach. Let's hope that number goes down, John Q. Public, but you're right. To some degree, no matter what, they will. At their own demise, which is really the amazing part. At their own demise. Think about that. At their own financial demise, social demise, their kids' demise. Because none of these policies help them, but they just don't. It just doesn't matter. Only helps if you're just relying on the government to give you things. That's the only way. I've been wondering the same thing. Why can't law enforcement do anything in Aurora? I don't know. I don't know where the truth lies there, what they can do, what they haven't been doing, whether they can or can't, but I just don't know how this happens. How you walk around with an AR-15 as an illegal and take over a building, have people supposedly the word is that they're having the tenants either pay them rent and the landlord, I mean, and law enforcement's not doing anything. They say that the gangs outnumber the police. Well, I can't imagine that's true. Yeah, that's a farce. How could that be? I mean, I've seen some of those videos. It's not like there's thousands of them. They got to have thousands of police from all areas of the state. Bring them all in. Texas West, thank you very much. Hope you had a good weekend. We're back tonight. The Teamsters Union president is on the fence with the Teamsters endorsement. Yeah, I don't know. Well, leadership is wherever they are. I think the actual members are not on the fence, and I think a lot of them support Trump. And again, I think they make up a lot of that unpollable mass that will never say anything, never talk until they go in the booth and pull the lever. If they even still do that. Was a good weekend. Silverfoot. I watched a little bit of some games. I'm going to start watching more this week, obviously, as pro starts in college and we start the odds makers. Has Florida State's coach been fired yet this morning? Because he should be. Because that program's going nowhere. He should. If he hasn't been fired this morning, he should be. Because their season is over. Imagine getting recruited to Florida State with their history, with Bobby Bowden, the history of that team, and going down there these last couple of years for this guy. You can't beat. I mean, good for Bill O'Brien at Boston College, by the way. He had them ready. He had them prepared. Florida State comes off that week 1 loss. Usually you see the biggest improvement in teams between week 1 and week 2, and they come out and then they lose to an unranked Boston College team last night as a 16 point favorite, I believe it was. Just crazy. That guy's not fired this morning. I don't know what they're doing down there. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually true. Yeah, Frederick, we're going to try to make it. We're going to try to make it almost every morning. Just check the post. We'll usually have the post up, obviously, before I go live. This morning we had some technical difficulties, but maybe 9 o'clock, could be 8:30, could be as late as 10 o'clock, depending on my morning schedule. But I'm going to try to get at least 45 minutes to an hour in every morning. Like I know this week, I got to take the dog to an appointment for a checkup at 9 a.m., so I'm not going to be able to do that morning, or maybe I'll do 10 o'clock that morning. So just check the post on the YouTube channel. It'll say the time on it, and I'll try to stick to those times that when we pre-post the link to the stream. So just pay attention to the time. Could say 9, it might say 10 one day this week. Yeah, it's not even close. It's not even close. What DeSantis and the Republicans have done in Florida, mainly the governor, they have dismantled and destroyed the Democrat Party. Any talk of any Democrat having success in Florida, unless it's a very specific pocket of Florida, is absolute, utter nonsense. I don't think there's an elected Democrat statewide. In the legislature. I don't know what the numbers are there, but there's not many. They're in total disarray. Let's see. What else? What else? Good crowd this morning. Thanks, everybody, for being here. If you haven't, make sure you hit the like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, wherever you are. Really like the numbers to grow between now and the end of the year on all platforms. They continue to have a nice uptick, which we appreciate you helping us out. Share, comment, engage. But the most important thing is to just follow, like, subscribe, whatever platform you're on. When I say subscribe, I don't mean subscribe like in the pay way. I know I use the word subscribe, and some people say, hey, it costs something to subscribe. You don't need to do that. Just follow the channel or subscribe, as long as it's free. If you're going to spend any money, go spend it at MyPillow, so we make sure you get something for the money you spend. A lot of people still asking, by the way, I should the shirt that Kevin Downey Jr. was wearing last week it is on our site, and it is in stock. Somebody said it was out of stock. I checked it over the weekend. It is definitely not out of stock. It is in stock. Let me go to it. This one. This is available. If you were looking for this is available. I know somebody said They went to it and it was out of stock. It is definitely not out of stock. It's there. Okay, let's see what else we have. Yeah, we're going to try to do at least an hour in the mornings or so. Hopefully, again, starting at 9 a.m. But just look at the time on the post when we post it. We'll post it usually the night before. Hello, Laura on X. Have a great day. I hope you do as well. Yeah, I don't think anyone's too happy with what's going on at Clemson either. Who Dat Nation, what's going on? Thank you, Jenny. Damon, folks need to pay attention to North Carolina. Could be this election's Georgia or Pennsylvania with shenanigans going on here. Oh, every place is going to have shenanigans going on there, right? We know that. We know that. How's Mark Robinson doing in North Carolina? Does anybody know? People have been sending me people have been sending me things about Mark Robinson that they're upset with him or something or other. I don't know what he's doing. I haven't followed it too closely. Start to follow all these races as we get closer, but what happened to Paul Nolan? I have him in the trunk of my car. You haven't heard? Yeah, he's still there. I let him out once a day for air. That's it. Good point. Yeah, I mean, again, it's pretty. I mean, could you just imagine this situation if Trump was president in Aurora, Colorado? Number one, the idea that he wouldn't have said something in front of a camera about it is crazy that we haven't heard from anybody about it from the administration, at least that I've seen. Yeah, LSU. How long is Brian Kelly going to make it? As he's stomping his fist on the table, acting like, you're the coach, dude. If they can't close the deal, who that's a bad look on you. I don't know how much longer he's got. LSU's not doing this to go 9-3 every year and play in the Orange Juice Bowl. Coffee and donuts? Oh, I got the coffee part. No donuts, though, for me. Florida has gone from the Dems for at least a decade. I would say that's probably right, given whoever takes over the governorship. Now, if you get some... Well, you're not going to get somebody like what you have now. So does the state go back to purple? I don't think so. Like you said, if it does, it's going to take a long time. Yes, correct. I remember that. Slick's birthday today. Going to have to bring a cake or something to the show tonight. How do you get that guy a cake? If I go to some place, they're going to say, what do you want it to look like? I'm going to say, well, just take every sparkle whatever you got in the store, just dump it on the top of it? How do I do that? Moon Pie, thanks. I enjoy being here with you guys. Thank you, Angela. AZ Mikey, what's going on? I just did. I just told you. But I'll tell him when I go out and when I give him air today, I'll tell him that you guys said hello. Don't you worry. I don't know. Again, I'll ask him today before I shut the trunk back down on top of him. No, not ill. Just a little short on air. Yep. Happy birthday to Slickster. Just bring pizza for Slick? Well, I'll text Slick during the day and see what he wants. I'll leave it up to him. Tommy Viper, don't get distracted at work now. Go do what you got to do. Oh, Jenny's got a good baker in the house. Nice. Oh, not a bad idea there. I'm sure I could find something purple between now and the show somewhere. Prince cake. It's a good idea too. I think that would probably take more than, what do I have? 9 hours left 8 hours before I see him. I don't think I can get it ready there in 8 hours. Thank you, Susan. Very possible. Actually, no, it's not possible. Paul's as nuts as Delgado is. What are we talking about here? Not a chance. Hey, look at this. Happy anniversary, guys. 36. Beautiful. Rare to see. 36. My parents, 52 now, I think I said. 54, actually. Yeah, 54 years. My parents just crossed 54. No, he did not. No, he did not. You know, going back and forth between school or maybe going into the trades, electrical. Still debating a lot. We may go take a look at Liberty University. I actually got to talk to Dave Bratt about going to see Liberty. I don't know. I just can't justify the cost of any of these places. I just can't. Yes, we talked about this. This is her new thing. I give them an A for effort because, like, what else do you do to avoid the press gaggle? That's a good one. 45 years. Look at that. Nice. I don't know. Does any 17-year-old know these days? It's all too generalized, right? Hey, I want to go into business. Well, what kind of business? What type of business? What part of business? They don't know. All right, I think I caught up on the comments. Well, yeah, that's one of the things he's thinking about, maybe the electrical. It's a good idea. I'll have to save one. Let's see. Let's go over one more time before we wrap it. Oh, what did I do here? I mean, if you're following what's going on in Israel, Douglas Murray is so good. I haven't seen this. Let's see what he says.
But do you not feel that something has to give here, that this has to get resolved somehow, and that the only way to do that is, as with all these situations, you have to eventually compromise in some way? And the problem for Netanyahu is that people think he is completely incapable of offering Hamas any compromise, and therefore there is no deal. So the families of the hostages still there, and hundreds of thousands of protesters in Israel on the street to Tel Aviv right now, they are of the firm belief that it's his own intractable position on this, which is not going to allow any kind of ceasefire to be achievable.
But there again, if I can say so, Piers, it's the same thing, which is the presumption that it's Netanyahu who is uncompromising. We end up with this, again, because Netanyahu is a democratically elected leader, and so it's assumed that some pressure can be brought to bear on him. In my view, it is not Netanyahu who's uncompromising. It's Hamas that's uncompromising. They could have handed back the hostages last October. They could have not done this. I mean, they could have tried to build a state since 2005, when Israel withdrew from the Gaza, and handed the place over to them. Hamas could have used the billions of dollars and pounds and euros that British and European and American taxpayers gave them since 2006. They could have used those billions of dollars to build up Gaza. They could have made a booming, in the good sense of the term, Mediterranean paradise. They could have created wealth for their people. But you know what they did? They built down instead of upwards. They built a tunnel network bigger than the London Underground for all of those years, and they squirreled away the money, just like Yasser Arafat did before them, and they made themselves rich. Why was Ismail Haniyeh worth billions of dollars? Why does Khaled Mashal, why is he worth billions of dollars? Why are their children like princelings who live in apartment complexes in Doha? Because they took the money of Americans and Brits and Europeans and they took it for themselves and kept the people of Gaza in immiseration and poverty. There has been since 2005 a complete counterfactual of what could have happened. But the Hamas leadership didn't want that. They have said themselves they want to use Palestinian children and their lives in order to pressurize the world. These are fanatics. They want the death of their own citizens, in order to get world opinion turned against Israel. Again, how do you negotiate with that? The assumption always is in the West today, because we're so sort of fat and lazy in our expectation that peace is the norm, and that historically it's the norm. We're so full of our own expectations and presumptions that we always think that wars end by some kind of compromise and coming around the table, to use the cliche. They don't. Historically, most wars end because one side wins and one side loses. And one of the reasons, in my view, why there is this endless rounds of war in this region is because the Israelis are never allowed to win, and Hamas, in this case, are always allowed to draw. And I think that that is simply to set up the precursor for the next conflict. If Hamas come out of this with a fighting capability, then there will be another round of this war in a couple of years. So when David Lammy and others say what we need to have is a peace deal, I'd say on what terms? Everybody wants peace except for Hamas and the fanatics. Everybody else wants peace. All of these people in the south, these kibbutzniks and the party goers and others who were murdered on the 7th, all dreamed of peace with their Palestinian neighbors and brothers and sisters. Who stopped that peace being possible? Hamas, from 2005 and again to this very day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Douglas Murray's absolutely right. This idea that somehow it's always on Netanyahu and Israel to have to compromise, or people say they have a right to defend themselves. I mean, think about 9/11. If someone had said to the U.S., well, yeah, I mean, you guys have a right to defend yourself. No, we have a right to total annihilation.
But do you not feel that something has...
I mean, it's just kind of wild where people fall on this stuff.
Okay, come on up, come on up. Let's give a round of applause to Susanna. Okay, Susanna, come on up. All right, Susanna, how old are you? 10 years old. Susanna's 10. Okay, and what's your favorite position? I know what it is, but what is it?
Running back.
Running back, so shout out to the running backs. Shout out to the running backs. But of course, her favorite player is? Jalen Milroe, of course, the quarterback. There he is back there waving to you. All right. Hey, just you know, I don't know a lot of the details, but I know she's working and battling and fighting hard with a disease that, you know, a lot of times attacks the muscles, but in her case, it's attacking the heart. Okay. And man, we appreciate you and the fight that you're putting up. You bet. We're excited to have you here. And what we would like to do, all right, we would like to see you score a touchdown and see if you can get that done. So we're going to have the one offense and the one defense line up here on the 20-yard line. Your guy right there, Jalen Milroe, is going to hand you the ball as a running back, and we're going to see if you can score, and we're going to go celebrate with you in the end zone, okay? And then at the end, I'm going to give you this football, all right, so you can have all the guys sign it when they're done. All right? Let's hear it for Susanna.
Hey, don't let him say that. Don't let him talk to you.
Arizona, okay? Arizona. I'm buck, ready? We're gonna stand right here. Hey!
She threw it instead. She threw it. That's pretty funny.
Ready?
1, 2.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
There
guys.
you go. Stuff you probably would never see.
Awesome. Nice to meet y'all.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much.
I hear the quarterback, that Milroe kid, is a pretty decent kid. He's got his head on his shoulders. New Jersey voter registration update. $1.6 to 2.5, other 2.4. Huh. Republicans in 22 went from 1.5 to now 1.6. Democrats went from 2.5 and they stayed at 2. Actually went down like 50,000 from 77 to 24. Other went 2.497 to 2.493. So it changed. So People say New Jersey's in play. I think that's about as laughable as people saying Florida's in play.
He has lost his privileges, and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation, and that has to stop. He has lost his privileges, and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that
he's lost his privileges. It should be taken down. Privileges granted from whom exactly? From you? From the government? Rasmussen, how concerned are you that the outcome of the 2024 presidential election will be affected by cheating? Very or somewhat concerned. Dems 55, Independents 58, GOP 83, all voters 66. Seems like everybody's on edge. Dems 55. Is this a, I guess it is, because this guy's complaining that Elon's involvement in politics is now affecting Tesla. The reason the Democrat Party is so soft on criminals is that criminals vote overwhelmingly Democrat. They don't want to offend their customers. Democrat Party is literally the party of criminals. I mean, I don't know how statement of facts can affect his other company's brand, but I guess that's the argument they're making. All right, everybody. It's about an hour, 7 minutes, so sorry for being late. But I don't see any other questions or anything else in the chat, so I think at this point maybe we'll wrap it for this morning. We'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. on Real America's Voice, live from Studio 6B, right here, of course, on all socials. And then I'll see you back here. Will I see you back here tomorrow morning? I know there's one morning that I will not be. At least it won't be 9. Yeah, tomorrow we'll probably be back at 9. Thursday will probably be more like 10. And then going forward, we should be pretty much around 9. So figure around 9 a.m. every morning we'll be here. Get some news together, see what's going on, and then of course we'll see you tonight. Yep, everybody have a great day. And we'll see you at 8 p.m. over there on Real America's Voice. So thanks for joining me on the first of hopefully many morning streams. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, smash up the like, as they say. Subscribe to the channel. Help us get the numbers up there. We always appreciate that. And Frederick Leathers, yes, thank you. We'll see you later. And we'll see you tonight, 8 p.m. live from Studio 6B. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.